Did you watch the Shawn Ryan show? So Shawn Ryan recently interviewed Brian Harpole. Brian Harpole was one of the security guards that was there during the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and he was boots to the ground. He is a decorated officer. He served in his community as a police officer for a number of years. He went on to security and protecting high-profile people. He has a company that's been thriving ever since. This is a respected person, and he was also an eyewitness. He was involved in this as well. And it was an interview that I think any person, especially those who were following interviewers, excuse me, correction, those who were following influencers who were throwing all types of wild accusations, innuendos. I don't know, no, but I know, and activating people to believing things that were simply not true, activating them to the point where she was turning people's hearts against the widow. If you step away from that, move your emotions from that, and you looked at it, like if that was your baby sister, you would see how disgusting that was. Me personally, I believe she did it with an agenda, but I digress because this is not about her. And so in the interview, it's about 2 hours plus. And so you can look at it, the full interview, and all those questions that people had is answered there. This is an eyewitness. This is a person who was helping Charlie, who was supporting Charlie. He gave answers to a lot of questions and actually not questions, accusations that was being thrown around all over the place by people who was not there, by people who was not in his inner circle around the time of his in the last few years prior to his assassination. This is someone who was actually there. This is actually, let me just say this, a credible source. Let's be clear. That felt good. And so Brandon Tatum also did a reaction video to this. He took like a couple of clips, and I think he was trying to find clips to some of the wild accusations that was really circulating around the time, directly immediately after the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. And so he brought up the clip of the man talking about when Erica Kirk found out. How is it common, or does it happen when can a bullet go into the body and not exit? And the answer is yes. And one of the examples that we have, at least on a nationwide, if not worldwide stage, would be this Martin Luther King, because the same pew pew that was used for Charlie Kirk's unaliving, that people were saying, yeah, because that's right, because if it was that kind of person, I know, because my husband, cousin, a friend, so-and-so, yeah, all that stuff that was traveling. He was like, yeah, that can happen. It's possible, absolutely, that can happen. And see, to the average person who don't know that much about pew pews, you may know about, yeah, I got a Glock 9, but I'm talking about that type of weaponry. You may not know that, but for a professional, and this is his profession, I think God will believe the professional. And so also he brought up the fact that Martin Luther King was another high-profile person that was unalived by that same kind of pew pew. And so anyway, he talked about that. What about the paving that happened immediately after his unaliving? What about this? What about that? Also, what Brian did, because once shots fired, he went to go dive on, Charlie Kirk, because there was no, you couldn't hide behind anything. So you had to just kind of, dive on him, to protect him, because at that point they didn't know how many other shots was going to be fired. So he laid on him, and when he went on him, he seen that Charlie was wounded, but he didn't know the degree he was. But he said eventually he started I guess he seen him fading, and then he wasn't there. He tried to use his hand to close, to prevent the blood from flowing out so much. But we know what happened. And so I would say go watch it. If you can't watch the 2 hour plus, definitely check out the Brandon Tatum, because I believe that it puts to rest a lot of things if you are willing to if you are open to truth. if you're open to truth. You have to be open to that. Sometimes people don't care about truth. They just like the fantasies of their favorite influencer. But if you really want to know the facts of it, and then if you find yourself where this is just the minister in me, I just have to say this. If you hear that testimony of this man, and you know that you was part of, perpetuating a falsehood, a lie, because you heard it from your influencer, make an apology, make an amends. I can only imagine, my having to suffer the loss of someone I loved so much and adored so much, the father of my children, and then all of a sudden now I'm experiencing this hurt, this devastation. I don't know if I'm next. I don't know if there's a target on me or my loved ones or my children. I don't know, right? You don't know that. She didn't know that at this time. And then the next day, you have public opinion turned against you by one person who was targeting under the guise of, I'm his BFF. I'm the only person who's the only person. You mean she loved him so much, which I don't look, okay. I'm the BFF and I'm the only one, right? You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust the FBI. You can't trust the Pentagon. You can't trust the Utah. You can't trust the pastor. You can't trust the wife. You can't trust TPUSA. You can't trust any of the people who was there. You can't trust your own eyes. The only person you can trust is me. Man, if that was a pastor that said that, y'all would have that, oh my goodness, you're a devil. I mean, you would be coming up with all types of names. But for some reason, y'all have allowed this woman to say some preposterous things, make some sweeping accusations, trigger and activated people. She activated people to begin to assault a woman verbally, assault a woman who is grieving the loss of her husband, and then to turn around and have someone who was not a part of Charlie Kirk's circle prior to his unaliving. Y'all keep forgetting that he released this honey back in 2019. He didn't want her in TPUSA anymore. So why are we acting like they were, look, that was, they were just the best of friends? No, they wasn't. And she went on this whole crusade. She forget the mother of Charlie's mother, father, siblings, wife, real best friends, pastor, church family, forget all them. Nobody had it like her. If you was a part of that, all I can say, please just apologize. I mean, I know that if it ever came out that, oh my goodness, she was actually truthful and here's the proof, I know I would. I would be like, yo, I thought it was and it wasn't. I was wrong on this. Because I don't want to mislead people, and I certainly don't want to be responsible for perpetuating a lie. And then once that lie is revealed, which it has been in a lot of different ways, the question then becomes, why would she do it? I have been screaming since day 3 after he passed away, when she was relentlessly going after everything he believed in and all that he had, but yet she did it. I'm the only one. And people bought it, and it was sad to see. But I also believe it was a time that we further seen the separation of tares and wheat, because people was believing more so in that evil woman. It's evil to do the things that she did. That evil woman, then what the Word of God said, what the Word of God says, and how you should be treating a woman who just lost her husband. Yeah, that's a big deal. And so check out Brenda. If you looked at it already, please drop it in the comments area. Let me know your thoughts on it. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. And until again, may the Lord bless you and keep you. God bless.